What a monumental moment for me because I am interviewing with the one and only Sheldon Riley. It is such a full circle moment for me, but Sheldon, thank you so much for sitting with me today for this interview.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You're so
So
sweet.
good to see you. You look amazing as always.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. So,
Oh my God, I love your shirt.
well, I knew that I was going to interview you, so I chose something with like glitters and shining. This is my
I just saw it. Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
this is my like go-to t-shirt when I want to impress people.
Oh, nice. Me too.
Perfect. Amazing. So it's working. I'm glad. Well, I do have a lot of questions for you, and we will talk about Eurovision and you, but I just would like to start with the most generic, yet probably the most meaningful question. How are you feeling now that we're getting closer and closer to Australia this side? The Eurovision season it has started. How is everything with you now?
I'm amazing. I mean, putting aside that I'm a competitor in this, I'm a freaking massive fan of Eurovision. So I feel like every year as it starts to get closer with all these national selections happening and countries releasing their internal selections, it makes me so excited. And it's so crazy to think because I was just thinking yesterday while I was looking at all these different people that are coming forward to possibly represent. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm one of those people this time. How crazy!
It's crazy, and like the season has started like quite quickly. We already do have some songs from
Yeah.
some countries, and the selection processes are going quite fastly. So it's. I think it's going to be a bloodbath this year, just like last year.
I think last year really set the tone. I feel like it was like, yeah, we
Oh
have
my
set
god!
it up. And already the songs that are coming forward already, I was listening on Spotify yesterday. I was like, oh my God, these songs are incredible. Like it's up here already, so it's very exciting.
Well, I mean, we talked about like Eurovision and like you being a Eurovision fan. I'd like to just get to that a little bit more because you've been around for a while, singing in front of millions. So this
Yeah.
is not an unfamiliar situation for you. We've seen you on The Voice, on America's Got Talent. Um, you've been around for a while, covering and performing such iconic performances and songs. How much of a Eurovision fan have you been, and what does Eurovision mean to you?
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. It means everything to me. I think even from the start of my music trajectory, I always had Eurovision very strongly plastered in the back of my mind. That's where I want to not end up necessarily, but that's where I want to be able to do that one day. So I think if anyone has ever seen me in anything, especially on The Voice or The Voice All Stars, you can kind of see that I've always wanted every performance to be like a Eurovision performance from day one. I mean, it's not for me like the music and vocals are so important to me, but I find that often I once I've got the music down, then it's all aesthetic based, and I get to finally play into this wonderland of imagination that goes on in my head, and I think that's where the Eurovision aspect really comes in because when it's one thing to sing a song, and then there's another thing to really perform it. And I think that's where the little bit of Eurovision magic comes in.
That's amazing that you actually talked about that. I do have a quick fun fact for you, a quick story time. Last year in May, just right after Italy won,
Yeah.
I was with my partner in our living room and just like browsing the most iconic The Voice performances of all times, like globally. So there's like a playlist on YouTube that is a compilation of performances. And of course you're in there. And
Oh,
so it was just like a night in just browsing the talent and then like sort of like feeling the vibes. And it was your performance of Frozen by Madonna, which is one of the most iconic and monumental things I've ever seen in my life.
oh,
And I remember talking to my partner and telling him, oh my God, like, look at him. He needs to be on Eurovision. Like, he is Eurovision. And like, we need to see more musicians, more performers like
mhm,
him who knows his craft so well. Because like, you're a whole package on stage from your
yeah.
outfits to the way you sing to the way you move. And I mean, I'm a
Oh,
Eurovision fan. You know that about me. We really phone over that. Like, we really love that. So I think
oh,
this is
thank you so much. That means a lot. I mean, for me, that was The Voice All Stars. So I came off The
yeah.
Voice the first season doing things that were a bit crazy and
Mm.
high fashion and very me. And then when I got the call for All Stars, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not, but I said to I don't know how it works in every country, but here in Australia, to be you don't just get to put yourself forward for Eurovision. You have to be selected by the broadcaster here, and I just said I need to make more of a name for myself, and I need to really show people what's going on in my head and execute it more. And I knew that The Voice could do that. So I said to The Voice when I was going back to All Stars, I was like, if I do this, I know it's an audition, but can we make it like crazy? I mean, a lot of those auditions, it's usually, just the red chairs, the red backdrop. And then for this one, I was like, how crazy can we make it? And it was full on. And I just said with full intention, I would love to win The Voice, but my end goal has always been Eurovision. I mean, so I said to them, I'm grateful for however far I get, but every performance has to be Eurovision level. And I want people to be able to see that that's the stage that I could really make a mark on. So thank you. Everything you said means a lot, because we put a lot of effort into it to make it that way. So
it really shows, Sheldon. I mean, as a die-hard Eurovision fan, when I saw your performances, I was immediately sold for the idea that you should be on Eurovision, and we would love it, definitely. So, yeah, you're on the right path. It's working, definitely. So let's talk about what's happening with you and Eurovision. You're keeping it a top secret what your song is, and I think it's for the right reasons. But we do have a name, not the same, right?
We do. It's called Not the Same. I wrote it myself. I've actually been writing it for years now, and it was a song that I've really had at the back of my catalog for a very long time. I actually found it on my old Facebook account. I used to send myself lyric messages whenever I had a lyric idea. I
know that really well. Same.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And I found it a few years back, and I was like, oh, far out. And I wrote it when I was really young, probably when I wasn't even allowed to have a Facebook account. And I mean, it's drastically changed since then. It was just lyrics on Facebook at the time, but it's called Not the Same. It's a very personal song. It was never ever going to be the Eurovision song. We've gone on quite a journey on picking the right song for Australia Decides for this Eurovision process, and I sent through a heap of different songs to SBS here in Australia, and they were good, but they weren't quite right. So they sent me through a few songs, and they weren't quite right, and I was like, like my biggest dream is feeling like it's just tumbling because I just couldn't find the right song. I was like, what about this one? And it was just a little too personal for me to ever put forward, but I did it anyway, and they loved it. So yeah, that's what we've gone with.
Well, it's interesting because I think when it comes to performing a song on Eurovision, the song we can really see if the performer can associate with the song. That really creates a benchmark for us audiences. Like, we can see that the song, the lyrics, the performance itself, it means something to the artist. And then, so I think, choosing a song that is personal to you and like elevating it for it to be a Eurovision song must be a wise choice, I believe.
There was a lot of thought behind it, but it also felt very organic. I think for me, I've loved the competition for so long, and I've always told myself that the artists that I've fallen in love with and I've never forgotten are the ones that didn't have in the back of their mind, oh, it has to fit Eurovision. And I think that the thing that I find, being a fan of the show, the thing that I found the strongest was that I think there are so many artists that go into Eurovision who are so good and so established, but they've got this kind of stigma in their mind that when they do Eurovision, they have to alter and change themselves to fit Eurovision. But I find that, again, the artists that I love the most and that come out of this so strong are the ones that realized there is no Eurovision box. Eurovision is what you make of it. So when I think I lost my way a little bit when I was sending songs through, because I was like, oh, it's not Eurovision enough, it's not this. And then I had to remind myself, it was actually Voila, Barbara Pravi from France that really made me go, wait, 1 second, what am I doing? It doesn't need to be anything, it just needs to be the right song. Yeah. So this one really just fell into the right place.
Even Maneskin, like, they proved that there shouldn't be any set rules, because like, I think every year when we look back at the winners, it's
Hmm.
always been about original craft, owning up your performance, your
Yeah.
brand,
Yeah.
and then just elevating it, just becoming an iconic Eurovision star. And I mean, not every year it's all about winning. Like we do have Eurovision anthems that haven't won. But I think when I go back and look at the winners, it's always been about the artists and the songs and the performances
Yeah.
that have left an impact on people.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's why I love Eurovision so much is that wherever you place, the artists who are so true to themselves are the one that shines, yeah, that, that shine through. And I mean, winners aside, I listen to Barbara every day, and I listen to Jean from Switzerland every single day,
Yeah,
and that's how I want to come out of it. I mean, if Australia, if I make it through,
yeah,
and for some crazy reason Australia does actually win, then that would be amazing. But I'm also keeping in the back of my mind that I don't need to win Eurovision. I just want to be able to represent and show a new audience what I can do. And I
absolutely,
know that people will be able to, fall in love with that if it's
absolutely.
real.
Absolutely. Now, I said that we don't know your song just yet, but you've teased us a while back. I think it was like 2 weeks ago that you shared a quick snippet of you singing your song with a full-blown symphony orchestra, right?
Uh, Yep,
Um,
that's
very short. It made me crazy. I was like DMing you right away. I was like, this is crazy. This is amazing. Like from
I
that
mean,
short
everyone was
amount of time
like,
it sounded amazing. I am a diehard like symphonic drama like James Bond style sort of like
yeah.
epic sounds, so I'm a big lover of that kind of style. But in what ways do you think Not the Same, like your song, will impress the audiences?
I I I've been really thoughtful of how I want this song to be performed, and I think a lot of people are probably going to expect something massive and something big from the start. I mean, Frozen, when I performed that, there's only that short little part where I'm down and then it just explodes straight away. But I wanted to really pan this out, and I want to go back to Barbara again from France and think that growth through that song was so inspiring to me. So I wanted to do something similar and just really letting the audience go through a journey on the song. So I I'm hoping people will resonate with it. I've got a massive surprise in the song. I've added a little Sheldon magic in the middle of the song that I'm very, very excited about. It's it musically and visually really comes together, and I'm so excited about it. I'm going to be doing things that I've never done before, but I've also taken a lot of notes of things that I've done in the past that worked well, and I'm incorporating it into this. So yeah, I mean I really can't give away too much, but
I know,
I've
I know, I know. I think it's for the right reasons, but like I think your brand, when we say Sheldon Riley, I mean you must be used to this question because all of the interviewers ask you the same question. I know, but you and your outfits,
yeah.
they go really hand in hand, and like I think you have sort of like created this craft so well that is so unique. And I just want to know if you could give away any sort of like hints as to what you're going to wear, what kind
I
of
sure
Sheldon
can.
that we will see on stage, or like what kind of like preparations that you've been going through for your Eurovision stage setting in terms of outfits.
All right, for you, my love, I'll tell you everything I can tell you. All right, everything I can tell you.
Ah,
Promise.
that's
So
great. Thank
I've
you.
collaborated with oh doggo. I've collaborated with I've collaborated with a Australian designer from Ital. His name's Anthony. I had a very strong idea of what I wanted to wear, something a shape that is very Sheldon, but at the same time something that I've never ever done before. It is massive. The outfit is massive. It uses meters and meters and meters and meters of fabric to make it look as beautiful as it does. It's very big. I haven't told anyone that. It's very dark. It goes with the whole James Bond, Billie Eilish cinematic theme. I've got a mask on by House of Emmanuel, as I usually do, the full Swarovski crystal mask, and
Yes, you
the
do. Yes.
staging is I I'm gonna say it's very James Bond staging, very very James Bond staging, and the reason why I went with all this, the whole song is I've actually never really went into what the song is, but the song is about me growing up and kind of this Eurovision performance is kind of going to be the explanation as to why I am the way I am, why I wear the masks that I do,
Mm.
why I wear the fashion that I do, where it began and where it started, and it feels like this beautiful full circle moment lyrically about where I've come from there to now and why I've made the choices that I have. And that's why I'm saying it's pretty personal because I haven't really opened up to any of that kind of stuff before. And I mean, it's not political, it's just my own story.
Yeah.
But why I went with the James Bondy kind of feel is that it felt right. I mean, when everyone was doing when everyone was doing bright colors and living the summer life, I was very dark and very hidden. And then when everyone tried to push me away into darkness, I wanted to be this rainbow goddess fairy. So I mean, the James Bond thing is I feel like I finally found the world that I belong in. This cinematic kind of dark utopia, I guess you could call it. But I mean, it all ties in really beautifully, and I'm hoping people connect with it because it's really is one of the most stripped back songs I've ever sung. But then it goes into something. I mean, for me, the whole brand and everything that I do, I just want it to feel. I don't want it to be anything. I just it just needs to be real and it needs to feel right. So it's kind of what I've always gone for. I mean, a lot of people say that hiding behind the mask is all
Mm.
gimmick, it's all this, it's all that. And I mean, for me, honestly, my genuinely the reason for the mask, and I've actually never really given an answer to this, but the reason for the mask is one, I think they are freaking beautiful. I think they're so beautiful and so stunning. I just love the shock factor. But two, really hiding this has been able to help me open this up a whole lot more. And you know, if that works for me, it works.
Thank you
And
so much for sharing this. It's so special.
it's
Seriously,
fine.
thank you so much. I mean, you are well on your way on Eurovision, okay? And then obviously we've got a selection coming up, so no one knows what's going to happen. But I am sure you do have some ideals, and like if things go accordingly, according to the plan, um, I'm just wondering, is there anything that you're looking forward to experiencing?
I am really looking forward to if you know if I'm successful in Australia, I'm really looking forward to the rehearsal experience. I remember when I was watching fair few years ago now, I'm watching Dami Im from Australia, where
Oh
she did
my God,
Sound of
yeah.
Silence. Yeah, I know, right?
I,
Watching I stayed up all hours of the night waiting for somebody to upload a new rehearsal video of her doing a different version of Sound of Silence and finding which version was the best for the actual performance. And I think because my song has so much to play with, I'm so excited to go in and do that. But I mean, when I say to you that I'm Eurovision really means everything to me. I come from a pretty reserved family, a very religious family, and Eurovision was the first time that I was ever really exposed to something that made me go, like, what was that? And why don't I know more of it? And I think slowly growing into, into an adult, I've done a lot of research and a lot of exploring and a lot of understanding of how much more there is out there in the world. And the thing I've always come back to is just how do you know that excitement? Do you remember seeing a man in heels for the first time or like a woman in a power suit for the first time? Like just that thrill of going, that doesn't look right, but why doesn't it look right? Because we've been told it's not right and battling that. And for
yeah.
me, being someone who's so invested in fashion and music, and then also just that thrill of exploring new parts of life. Eurovision is all of those three things, and I'm excited for all of it. Like rehearsals, meeting other countries, and meeting other, all these people that are behind the scenes that a lot of people wouldn't know.
Mhm.
That only someone like me at 10 years old waking up in Australia, we have to wake up early. So, someone waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to watch these people, like I'm so excited I'm just manifesting that I'm gonna win. But I mean, I'm so
Yeah,
excited
it's
that
manifest all the way. I'm looking forward to seeing your growth. I really am so excited. I'm definitely so excited. Now, this next question is a tricky one. I don't know how lucky I can get with this, but Sheldon, is there any way that you can tease the audiences a little bit further as to Not the Same? Like, is there any way that we can know a little bit more about Not the Same?
I mean, I've already told you a lot more than what everyone else has been able
No
to
pressure,
hear.
but
um, I'm going to be doing something that I didn't think I would ever do again. I promised myself that I would stay true to what makes me feel good, and that is performing in the art that I love to create and wear. And I am going to be switching things up just a little bit halfway through the song and revealing things and making.
okay, we've got a video coming up. Okay.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? Because of COVID, literally because of COVID, I'm not just saying that as a way out. We had the music video planned for this Saturday coming, and a few people from the crew that I've got and different people that were involved in the video have got COVID, so we've had to cancel the music video, which is unfortunate. But I have been brainstorming so many ideas on how this reveal would look in the video as it would on stage. I mean, Not the Same is going to be really big, and it's going to be really. I hope it really hits people the way that it hits me, because when I hear the song still, I get so excited about it. I mean, I love my music that I've released in the past, but this song I haven't been able to stop listening to. I've fallen so deeply in love with this track, and I really hope other people do as well, because I find that when you're a musician, especially in Australia, you have to really follow certain rules, and you have to do certain things to your music to make sure people are going to listen to it. And this was the first time I went, I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do and record this song exactly how I want it to be recorded. And I'm so proud that I did that, because I get nervous even thinking about performing it, because it's gonna be really good. I'm really hoping.
I have a really good feeling about this, Sheldon. I really have a good feeling about this, and I think all of your hard work and your efforts will be seen by the audiences and by all of us, and I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Going back to Eurovision, a few generic Eurovision questions, if I may. What's your number one Eurovision moment? So it could be like a funny moment, it could be a drastic moment. What would that be?
I mean, for me, I think, I know this is probably going to sound like a very typical answer, but Conchita with Rise Like a Phoenix completely changed my life. That was the moment where I went, I'm going to fall in love every single year. I mean, a lot of LGBTQI plus people, and I mean, even anyone, all people around the world fell so deeply in love with Conchita and and what they did. So I think that moment was the big one. But again, Barbara from France has changed my life. When I tell you that I was so stuck in what I was going to, I've been wanting to do Eurovision since I was the tiniest little kid. I was so stuck on finally, once we decided I was going to be able to do it, what the song was going to be. It was because of Barbara that my song is what it is, and I'm so silently and loudly thankful to her, because I was so caught up in what the sound was going to be and what it needed to be, that Barbara really reminded me that originality. And she did an interview, actually a press interview at Eurovision last year, and she just said something that really moved me, and I think that's been my biggest change in just my experience for Eurovision.
Absolutely. And last but not least, what would you like to say to everyone who are watching this video right now, this interview, all of those Eurovision fans who are watching our interview? What would you like to say to them?
I want to say thank you so much for watching, but also thank you so much for having me in this Eurovision family, in this world. I mean, I've watched so many artists come through Eurovision who are just so determined to win that they forget that what makes it so special are the people who follow it so strongly. And I know that every time an artist has really thanked the viewer, I've felt so special about it. I remember when Netta said, "Thank you so much for choosing different," and that just made me go I want to be up there and do that too. So Thank you to everyone for making this such an amazing experience, because this is why everyone in the world wants to be a part of Eurovision now, is because people have fallen in love with it over every year.
Well, you are an amazing addition to our Eurovision journey this year, and I am wishing you all the luck, all the positivity, all the good fortune. I am sure you're going to do really well, because we know you and we love you. And
Thank you so much.
as a Eurovision fan, like I said, seeing you performing Frozen months ago, randomly on the internet, really made me believe and hope that this moment would happen one day. And it didn't take too long, only a few months later. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I think we will see you more. And I'm just looking forward to seeing your growth on stage.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you so much. I'm really excited. It's been so nice to talk to you.
Also, congratulations with your latest single again, because I have to highlight it. Such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
There's a bit of that essence in Not the Same as well, but yeah, I was
good.
Just,
oh my god.
I wanted to put
it getting better. Sheldon, this is only getting better. Good.
No, it's I promise you, Not the Same is going to be, it's going to be really huge, and I hope you like it.
We will love it, I'm sure. Thank you so much for sitting with me today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Absolutely.
No, it's an honor. I love talking Eurovision. I'm, again, competitor aside, I'm such a fan.
Amazing. It was amazing having you. And then, best of luck.
Thank you, my love. I appreciate it.
See you around then.
Ciao, darling.